Legacy Kiri Civil War Arc Chapter 41, The Fifth Mizukage. 1 week after Yagura's death, the Land of Water was happy. The news of Yagura's death at the hands of Senju Naruto spread through the whole country like a wildfire. News that a single shinobi conquered the Mist Village and defeated their leader was the talk of the whole country. A single man had laid siege to the Mist Village and took down 2,000 shinobi and their leader, Yagura, Jinchuriki of the Sanbai, the three-tailed turtle. Stories of how Naruto rose into the sky and controlled the thunders, how he made large meteorites rain down from sky, how he created waves of black fire and summoned the Kyuubi himself to help. Senju Naruto, Shinobi no Kami, God of the Shinobi, as he was being called now, his legend had just started. Years of this war had left the water country weak and isolated from the other nations. A few bloodline users that never took part on the war were finally making their way back to the village since they had no other place to live. The Mist Village was weak, but they would recover in time. The daimyo was also replaced with a more competent one. Flashback Water Daimyo's estate. It was the following day after Naruto had conquered the Mist Village. After the bloodline army had settled in and everything was taken care of, there was only one thing left to end this pathetic war. A coup d'état against the water daimyo who funded this war. The dragons and Mei were standing outside of the daimyo's estate. It was night and everyone was on edge. If this worked, then the war would truly be over. In with the new, out with the old. The water daimyo had gone along with this war and even supported and funded Yagura. His unfair reign had to come to an end. How do you want to do this? Naruto asked Mei, who brought her hand to her chin. Mei turned to look at Naruto to see his blood-red eyes glowing in the dark. She still couldn't believe that Naruto was this powerful. Poor Chojuro fainted when Naruto had regrouped with them after defeating Yagura. Naruto had conquered the Mist Village and in the end he wasn't even tired, he didn't have a hair out of place or a scratch in his amour. I'm done playing games with him, Mei stated in a serious voice. We are taking the front door, Mei said and jumped out of the shadows. The moment she touched the ground, Mei blurred and the two guards guarding the main gate dropped to the floor unconscious. Works for me, Naruto said and, with a slight wave of hand, ordered the dragons to advance. Yotan, Yokai no Jutsu, lava release, melting apparition technique, Mei said and released a wave of lava from her mouth. The lava covered the gate and started melting it. A few seconds, the once rock-hardened gate was nothing more than melted something on the ground. The alarm echoed through the whole estate as several shinobi dropped from the main tower to defend their leader. Several samurais also stepped outside from the ground houses and surrounded the individuals. The samurais took out the swords and grasped them strongly when they recognized just what they were up against. I am here for you, daimyo, Mei yelled loudly from the ground. She enhanced her voice with chakra to make sure he would hear her. Everyone waited patiently until the wooden door bursted open and the daimyo stepped out into the balcony, high up in the daimyo's tower. He must have tough, he was safe up there, he even had his traditional blue hat on. You dare to attack me, the daimyo roared from his tower. He was pleased that the war had ended, but he didn't count on being attacked by the same person that won the war. You have the nerve of saying that to us after what you have done, Mei hissed towards the daimyo. You supported and funded Yagura into this war, and for what? Mei asked, narrowing her eyes at the leader of her country. You are supposed to lead this country into betterment, not death, Mei stated, releasing killer intent. The Mizukage is in charge of his village, it's his job to ensure the safety of his village and country. If he says that we need to eliminate these bloodline scum, then so be it, the water daimyo sneered at Mei, who tightened her fist, almost drawing out blood. They were innocent people, Mei yelled. How could he say such thing? He was sheltered in this mansion. He had servants for everything, it were these so-called monsters that kept his country safe and stable. It were these monsters that fought for the safety and betterment of this country. "You ungrateful bastard," Mei roared and turned to the shinobi standing in front of her. "Stand down," Mei ordered towards the shinobi. After all, they were mist shinobi and, as such, they were under her command and her command only. Not even the water daimyo had the authority to order shinobi around. That right belonged to the Kage and the Kage alone. "They won't listen to you, you are not the Mizukage," the daimyo happily stated, "and even if you were, they answer to me and me alone," the daimyo said. "I am Mei Terumi, the fifth Mizukage," Mei stated loud and clear with enough authority in her voice to make sure she got her pointer across. "I order you to stand down," Mei ordered. "You will not," the daimyo ordered, and the shinobi found themselves in a pickle. "Kill her," the daimyo ordered, and the shinobi and samurai were about to jump into action when another voice interrupted them. "You are welcome to try," Naruto said in a stoic voice as he made his presence known, stepping out of the shadows. Every single shinobi took a step back, noticing the presence of the man that single-handedly defeated Yagura and conquered the Mist Village. Every shinobi gulped. After all, standing in front of them was Senju Naruto, god of all shinobi. "You," daimyo hissed towards Naruto, who simply raised an eyebrow at his tone. Naruto raised his head to face the daimyo in a bored tone. "I've got a bone to pick with the fire daimyo. How dare he allow Konoha to interfere in another country's affairs," the daimyo said. The water daimyo yet seemed to realize in what situation he was in. The state of this country was pathetic. "You allowed some deranged fool to start a war and you didn't have the balls to stand up to him," Naruto making the water daimyo seethe while Mei chuckled at Naruto's boldness. "You just hide behind these walls, in your safe heaven, and you allowed innocent people to be slaughtered. This is why I dislike political leaders. You simply order the shinobi around, a Kage leads them into battle. A true leader must be willing to die for his own men," Naruto stated with a neutral voice, crossing his arms over his chest. "Enough," the water daimyo said. "Kill them all," the daimyo ordered, extending his arm and pointing towards Naruto. Naruto didn't even open his eyes for a few seconds, and when he did, the view didn't exactly surprise him. Every single shinobi and samurai was rooted in place. "I said, kill them," the daimyo roared, but the shinobi didn't move. Maybe they were scared of facing both Mei and Naruto, or maybe they were having second thoughts about everything they learned here. "Drop your weapons and let us finish this," Mei said. A few shinobi recoiled from her request. They shared looks between each other until they dropped their kunais and swords. Once they were disarmed, they dropped to their knees. "Cowards," the daimyo yelled towards his forces. "No, daimyo-sama," Mei said in a sweet voice, maybe too sweet. "They are warriors, and my alone," Mei said, and made her way towards the door while the shinobi and samurai did nothing to stop her. The dragons and Naruto secured the perimeter and made sure that the daimyo would not escape. With a final scream from the daimyo, the war was truly over. End flashback. Once the daimyo had been dealt with, a new worthy replacement was found and everything started calming down. The new daimyo started working on getting new trading agreements with other nations, trying to bring Kiri from this dark hole that it lived for so many years. The Mist Village was bursting with activity. The damage from Naruto's siege had been minimal and, as such, the buildings only needed minimal repairs here and there. There was a different ambient around Kiri. Where once people lived oppressed and scared of their tyrannical leader, now they were smiling and laughing. It was an unnaturally sunny day in Kiri. Maybe it was the outcome of Naruto using his new and improved lighting jutsu by drawing energy straight from the atmosphere. Naruto was walking down the village with his beautiful girlfriend on his arm. The armor was long gone and was replaced by civilian clothes. Naruto was wearing black pants and a dark blue shirt. Over that he was wearing a red trench coat with black flames on the bottom. On the back of his trench coat, the Senju clan symbol was proudly displayed in black color as well. Looking at his side, he couldn't but gawp at what Hinata had picked. She was wearing what she had called a gala dress or something. It was all confusing to Naruto, but he didn't seem to complain much. It was dark blue long dress that showed a little bit of her cleavage. Her dark blue hair flowing in the wind. They were walking towards the Mizukage Tower where there was a small party, if you could call it that, to celebrate the end of the war and the election of Mai Terumi as the new Mizukage. The choice of new leader had been swift and with overwhelming majority. Minus then 5% of the Mist Village disagreed of Mai Terumi being chosen as the new Mizukage. Naruto and Hinata smiled and replied at the people that greeted them on their walk. Naruto and his dragons had become somewhat famous over the duration of their stay. Kiri no Hachi ni no Ayu, the 8 heroes of Kiri as they were being called. Mai tried her best to uncover what lied being the masks but hit dead ends every time. At least she knew of Naruto and Hinata. Mai had made them honorary members of her village and said they were welcome to visit any time they wished. Both of them arrived at the Mizukage's tower to see a large red carpet on the ground. The other dragons were already there. It seemed a bit weird for the dragons to be wearing masks, but they had their identity to preserve. "You took you sweet time to arrive," Mai said with her hands on her hips. After all, the dragons were the guests of honor on this small event. "Sorry about that," Naruto replied, scratching the back of his head. "Me and Hinata-chan took a little too much time getting ready," Naruto explained to Mai, who narrowed her eyes. "Surely you didn't want us to show up in our battle armor?" Naruto rhetorically asked, and Mai nodded, dragging them both inside. They ate and chatted happily as the afternoon got by. It was finally night and the moon was shining high up in the sky. It was a cloudless night, so Naruto had a pretty good view of the stars and moon from the top of Mizukage Tower. Naruto sighed as he looked up at the starry sky. He was leaning on the metal fence, spinning a kunai on his hand. It's kind of funny that Naruto was wearing civilian clothes and yet, he still had a few weapons with him. "So this is where you were," Naruto heard and turned around to see Hinata approaching. "Why have you been hiding up here?" Hinata asked as she joined Naruto by the metal fences, looking up at the sky. "No reason," Naruto lied as he sighed and focused on the sky once again. "Just trying to clear my mind," Naruto explained, and that didn't fool Hinata. "You have known each other and lived together for nearly 10 years. You really think you can hide something from me?" Hinata rhetorically asked, making Naruto chuckle. "I guess," Naruto replied and gathered his thoughts before answering. "It's just, I don't know, I feel guilty for killing everyone," Naruto said, sighing and looking up. They were innocent people and even Yagura had nothing to do with this. It was Tobi all along. He used Isabu as a medium to control him, Naruto explained, and Hinata's eyes widened as she never knew. Naruto didn't tell anyone about Yagura being controlled. "When I saw you there, lying there on the floor, I don't know, I felt as if something inside of me snapped," Naruto said, and Hinata just heard him, holding his hand firmly. "I knew I could bring you back even if you died, but just seeing you there on the ground unconscious and in pain, I got so angry that I didn't even think properly and just rushed the village to kill Yagura," Naruto explained, sighing. "You went God Almighty on them, didn't you?" Hinata softly asked, and Naruto nodded. "You know me too well," Naruto said, giving a hollow chuckle. "I guess Itachi is right after all," Naruto said, and got a confused look from Hinata and decided to explain. "I knew Itachi from back before the massacre. I had the Sharingan, so sometimes I watched the Uchihas train so I could learn how to use my eyes. One time I heard him say this to his brother Sasuke. Being the best isn't all it's made out to be. When you're strong, you become arrogant and withdrawn. Even if what you sought after was your dream. Naruto said. He was right. I got so caught in my own power that I started comparing myself to gods. I may not have become arrogant, but it was only a matter of time, Naruto explained. This is why I know that you aren't a god, Naruto-kun, Hinata replied, and Naruto looked curiously towards her. A god doesn't feel remorse or guilt. To them we are nothing more than insects. We were created by them and they feel as if they own us. By owning us they can dispose of us as trash without a care in the world, Hinata explained, and Naruto listened intently. Feelings is what makes us human, and the fact that you feel guilty after what you have done is proof of that, Hinata explained. I suppose, Naruto replied. I have absolute control over life and death. To me it makes life seem like nothing, and yet I feel guilty over what I have done. Isn't it strange? Naruto rhetorically asked. I can take and give life as I wish, and yet, every time I take a life I feel empty inside, Naruto explained. That is the way of the shinobi, Hinata started. No matter how much we kid ourselves, we are weapons, we train and kill so that others don't. We kill so that our loved ones can live peacefully. We kill so that the people of Konoha can live in peace, Hinata said, and Naruto looked at her. Hinata had really grown up from her old shy personality. Where she once pulled her strength from Naruto, now she has her own. Everything you have done has been for the betterment of Kiri. It was best to end this war quickly than to further the bloodshed. It is the duty of the shinobi to carry this burden. Hinata finished and locked eyes with Naruto, losing herself in his blue eyes. And you don't have to feel empty or withdrawn, you have me, Hinata stated, and pulled Naruto for a soft kiss, under the gaze of the bright moon on the sky. Naruto forgot all about his problems and focused solely on his girlfriend. He wrapped his arms around her waist and pulled her closer, deepening the feeling of bliss and love. Hinata wrapped her hands around his neck, pulling him closer as well. They were lost in their own world that they didn't notice the presence of the dragons, that witnessed the whole thing from the beginning. Awu, red, Kushina, and black, Mito, fanned over the couple kissing under the moonlight. Naruto and Hinata split when they heard that sound. Thanks a lot for ruining the moment, Hinata cutely pouted, making everyone chuckle. Come on, let's go back. Mei's speech is about to begin, Yellow said, and Naruto and Hinata followed them, still holding hands. Nothing would split them apart, not even death. Mizukage's tower. Excellent, Ao said as he watched the dragon step in through the large double doors. Now that our guests of honor are here we can begin, Ao said, and the crowd quieted down and listened to what Ao had to say. Today is day of celebration. Today marks the official end of the Bloodline War and the rise of our new Mizukage. Several days ago, Yagura was defeated after waging war against his own people for several years, Ao said, and a few people lowered their heads. But that is the past. We are here and we will rebuild. So, without further ado I present you, Mei Terumi, the fifth Mizukage, Ao said, and the crowd erupted in cheers. From the side door a woman walked out. Mei was wearing her traditional blue dress but was also wearing her Kage hat. A dark blue hat with the kanji for water imprinted in the front of the hat. The hat itself was proof that she was the new leader of this country, the new Mizukage. Everyone fell silent as the new Mizukage made her way towards the podium. Mei took a deep breath and started. Kirigakure, we are finally united. This country has been split for far too long. Under the rule of Yagura, the water country had been slowly withering away and this war didn't help. But, let's forget the past and work into building the future. I promise I will do my best to lead this country and village to a brighter tomorrow, for I am, Mei Terumi, Godame Mizukage, Mei stated, and the crowd cheered. Everyone was happy that the war was over and they start fresh, so to speak. Mei raised her hand and the crowd fell silent once again. Though this victory isn't only ours to celebrate. This war wouldn't have won so easily, and only Kami knows how much time we would have to endure Yagura's reign without Konoha's help. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to the 8 dragons of the leaf, Mei said, and all of the dragons rose from their seats. I present you, the Kiri no Hachi ni no Ayu, the 8 heroes of the mist, Mei shouted, and the whole crowd cheered for their heroes. Who would have thought that Konoha shinobi would be considered heroes of another foreign country? But this was the start of an alliance that would last for decades to come. This was the first step of the peace the Sage of Six Paths always wanted. As long I'm Mizukage, they will always be welcome here and our country. As per our agreement towards the Hokage, Kiri is now fully allied with the leaf, Mei said, and everyone smiled, and I hope this treaty lasts for years to come, Mei said, and the crowd cheered once again. Now, let's party and get drunk, Mei shouted, and everyone chuckled. You know, Hinata started, getting the attention of Naruto. We never danced, Hinata said, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. You never said anything about liking it, Naruto said, confused. Naruto-kun, every girl wants to be like a princess, even if it's only momentarily, Hinata replied, and Naruto nodded. Where did you learn how to dance? Naruto asked, curious. The academy, of course. Did you think that the seduction class was only about looking good and charming? Hinata rhetorically asked, but Naruto shrugged his shoulders. Besides, I did learn the basics when I lived in the Hyuga clan, Hinata explained. Sorry Hinata-chan, but I don't know how to dance, Naruto replied timidly, scratching the back of his head. You really are a knucklehead, Hinata said playfully, hitting his shoulder. Your Sharingan can copy more than jutsu, you know? Hinata said, amused, and Naruto blinked and blinked again as his brain caught up with her. I'm an idiot, Naruto said, shaking his head and activating his Sharingan. Maybe, Hinata replied, giggling, but you are my idiot, Hinata said, pecking him on the lips. Lead on, princess, Naruto said, and placed his arm around Hinata's waist while Hinata placed her own arm on his shoulder. Naruto easily caught up with the steps and both danced perfectly and in sync. They danced for what seemed to be hours, never looking away from each other. They were lost in each other's arms. Eventually the music came to an end and they split for a small break and went towards the rest of the dragons. We have to do something, Naruto heard Green, Hashirama, say as they arrived near them. What's up? Naruto asked, and Green pointed towards Blue, Tobirama, who sitting down in a table silently watching everyone. I don't follow, Naruto said confused, looking at his great-uncle. We have to do something about him. Even back in the day he was always sulking and brooding around in the corners. If it wasn't for my sensing abilities I could swear he was an Uchiha, Green said, and Naruto's sweat dropped. What do you propose? Black, Mito, asked, curious as to what her husband had planned. A woman, Hashirama said, nodding his head, confident on his choice. You want to set up him with a hooker? Yellow, Minato, asked, tilting his head to the side, confused. Red, Kushina, smacked in the head and dropped him to the floor. Why are all men idiots? Red rhetorically asked. You can make space-time jutsu that allows instant teleportation, but understand woman ga, Kushina almost shouted. Even after you rescued me, I had to pin you to the wall and shove my tongue on your throat for you to realize I liked you, Kushina said, and Minato pouted while everyone chuckled. I know just the person for him, Naruto said with his eyes twinkling with mischief. And who is that person? Hashirama asked, and Naruto pointed to a woman with red hair and blue dress. Oh, she is perfect for him, Hinata said, thinking about the new couple. Sure, until she gets pissed off and melts his balls, Minato sarcastically replied. Will you give it a rest? Kushina replied, smacking Minato again. Now, how should we do this? Kushina asked, and the dragons began plotting Tobirama's fate while he was completely unaware. 5 minutes later everyone was in position. "Get your ass up, Black," Mito shouted as she appeared next to the brooding Tobirama. "What do want, Black?" Tobirama asked, slightly afraid of her tone. "Hell hath no fury as an angry Uzumaki, or Senju for that matter." "We are going to dance, now up," Mito said, and Tobirama complained. "Why don't you take this with my brother? He is your husband after all," Tobirama complained as he just wanted some peace of mind. "Now," Mito growled, and Tobirama jumped to his feet. "That's better," Mito said, and dragged him to the dance floor. Tobirama and Mito were dancing, much against Tobirama's will, but he thought this would be the safest way. "Here," Hinata said as she approached him. "Have a drink," Hinata offered, and Tobirama was about to refuse until he saw the murderous look on Mito's eyes. Even through the mask he could feel her gaze drawing a hole in his skull should he refuse. Tobirama shook his head and gulped down the sake. "I wonder when is this nightmare going to end," Tobirama thought to himself as someone poked him in his back. "Heads up," Naruto said, and Tobirama got confused until he felt Naruto's foot on his back. Tobirama flew through the room. Naruto used his gravity manipulation to make sure Tobirama didn't collide with anyone and found his way into the arms of the right person. It only took a second for Tobirama to collide with someone's back. "Oh my," Mei stated, looking amused at Blue. "You know? You don't have to crash into me to ask me for a dance. I'm not that hard to approach," Mei said, and offered him her hand for a dance. Tobirama looked conflicted and thought best to accept, otherwise his balls might be in danger. "I'm going to kill that brat," Blue angrily thought as he took her hand and led her to the dance floor. "Success," Naruto shouted, and every dragon cheered. Amigakure. In a dark cave, a lone figure could be seen walking towards another who was by the door. The one by the door had spiky orange hair with multiple piercings on his nose, chin, and ears. He was wearing a long black cloak with red clouds. He was Pain, the leader of the Akatsuki. "Pain," the other person called out as he approached. He had the same cloak with black spiky hair and had an orange mask. "It's time," Toby said, and Pain nodded, flashing through hand seals. In some unknown cave, 10 spectral figures could be seen standing in the dark. Every single one of them had the standard black cloak with red clouds. They were standing in a perfect circle. "Before we begin, I would like to introduce our newest member, Toby," Pain said as Toby waved to everybody. "Toby is a good boy," Toby cheerfully stated, being his orange mask. "I guess these meetings won't be so dull now," Kisame said, laughing, while Itachi remained his stoic person. "As of now we are back to 10 members. Deidara, Sasori, Kakuzu, Haiden, Itachi, Kisame, Zetsu, Toby, Conan and me." Pain started. "It's time we began our plans and started hunting down the Jinchurikis. As of now both the Ichibi, Nibi, Hachibi and the Kyubi are out of our grasp," Pain said until he was interrupted. "Why don't we simply bomb the villages and then take them?" Deidara said, molding clay in his hands. "You are a fool, Deidara," Kakuzu started. "The Hachibi has full control over his bijou and he never leaves Kumogakure. Coupled that with his brother the Yondaime Raikage, and it would be impossible for us to take them," Kakuzu said, and Pain nodded, knowing that it was true. The same thing could be said of Konoha. "According to my spies, the Kyubi brat has grown strong," Pain said. "How strong?" Itachi asked, curious about the growth of Naruto. "Strong enough to take 2,000 shinobi and Yagura himself when he conquered the Mist Village alone," Pain said, and Itachi's eyes widened. "You mean to tell me that the Kyubi brats stormed the Mist Village and defeated Yagura and his army?" Kisame asked, not believing what he had heard. "Yes," Pain simply replied. "He's going to be a pain in the ass to capture," Kisame replied laughing. The fact that the Kyubi brat is now being called the Shinobi no Kami, god of the shinobi, and that he has a flee-on-sight order in the bingo book is proof of his strength. Besides that, he also has full control over his bijou. Not only that, but he is always in the presence of at least his girlfriend Hyuga Hinata, who is also considered a S-rank shinobi and not to be taken lightly, Pain explained. I'll say, that damn girl defeated my second in command, forcing her into using Izanagi, Toby thought to himself. Things weren't looking good. As of now, those four are out of our reach. In the meantime, Haiden, Kakuzu, head for Taki and capture Fu, the Jinchuriki of the Nanabai. Itachi, Kisame, head for the Earth Country and scout for both the Yonbi and Gobi. Deidara, Sasori go to the Water Country and scout for Utakata, the Jinchuriki of the Rokubi, Pain ordered, and once he received acknowledges from everybody, he left. Back in AIM after the meeting was over. You know that only you can stand up to the Kyubi brat, right? Toby asked towards Pain. I don't think he is as powerful as you say. But if necessary, I'll be the one to capture him, Pain replied and walked off. Your time is coming to an end, Nagato, Toby thought darkly and warped away. Mei's bedroom, dawn. Everything was dark and quiet in this bedroom. As the sun came up in the sky, a few beams managed to sneak through the blinds and awake Mei from her slumber. Mei groggily woke up and brought her hand to her face to block the light. Oh, my head, Mei said, nursing her head and rising to a sitting position. Once she sat down on her bed, the sheets fell down to reveal her naked figure. Mei looked down and found it weird, as she never slept naked, but, then again, she couldn't remember much from last night. Mei tried to rise but found herself stuck as the sheets wouldn't budge. She looked to her right to find someone else lying there asleep and, judging by his lack of clothes, he was also naked. Oh God, Mei said to herself, covering up and shaking the man awake. Tobarama groggily opened his eyes and looked up to see the shocked face of Mei staring at him. Oh God, Mei yelled when she saw Tobarama's face and his blue mask on the floor. Shiite, I'm going to kill that brat, Tobarama thought to himself and wondered how he was going to walk away from this one with his balls intact. See you in the next one.